For decades, a powerful narrative has persisted in Nigeria's political and economic discourse that the Southeast is landlocked, isolated, and disconnected from maritime trade. But when facts, geography, history, and statistics are examined closely, the narrative collapses. Because the truth is this: the Southeast of Nigeria has direct, functional, and historically proven access to the Atlantic Ocean, not by theory, not by imagination, but by rivers, ports, coastlines, and international shipping routes that predates Nigeria itself. For decades, a single phrase has quietly shaped how Nigeria views one of its most productive regions. The Southeast is landlocked. It is repeated in political debates. It is used to justify political decisions. It appears in development arguments and even casual conversations. But what if that statement is not just misleading? What if it is fundamentally false? Because when geography, history, trade routes, and hard data are examined carefully, a very different picture emerges. This documentary investigates one simple question: does the Southeast of Nigeria have access to the sea? And if it does, why has that access been ignored, underused, or deliberately forgotten? Geography is not politics. It cannot be negotiated, rewritten, or voted away. The Southeast sits within one of Africa's most powerful natural systems, the River Niger Basin, the third longest river system on the continent. The River Niger flows over 4,180 kilometers. It empties directly into the Atlantic Ocean. It forms the backbone of Nigeria's inland waterways. The Southeast is connected to this river system through the lower Niger, the Anambra River, the Imo River, smaller tributaries feeding into the Niger Delta. These waterways are not seasonal meets. They are permanent natural highways. Historically, whenever rivers meet commerce, cities rise, and in the Southeast, one city rose higher than the most. Onitsha was never meant to be an inland town. It was founded as a river port, strategically positioned on the eastern bank of the River Niger, long before British colonial administration. Canoes and merchant vessels moved goods from Onitsha. Trade flowed southward towards the Niger Delta. Palm oil, textile, foodstuff, and crafts were exchanged. By the early 20th century, Onitsha had become one of West Africa's busiest inland trading hubs. British colonial records already referred to it as a critical commercial node. Today, Onitsha main market is among the largest markets in Africa. Its existence alone disproves the idea of isolation. Markets of that scale do not develop in disconnected regions. They develop where trade routes converge, and Onitsha's route has always led to the sea. In 1912, the British colonial government founded a city, not Lagos, not Calabar, Port Harcourt, and it was founded for one reason: to serve eastern Nigeria. The purpose: export coal from Enugu, connect the eastern hinterland to the Atlantic, reduce dependence on Lagos ports. The rail line was clear: Enugu to Port Harcourt to the Atlantic Ocean. This was Nigeria's first true industrial export corridor. For decades, eastern produce moved through Port Harcourt. Aba's manufacturing depended on it. Owerri and Umuahia relied on it. In logistical terms, Port Harcourt is the seaport of the Southeast. Its political classification does not change its economic function. Let's remove emotions and look at distance. Aba to Port Harcourt, 60 kilometers. Owerri to Port Harcourt, 90 kilometers. Onitsha to Port Harcourt, 112 kilometers. Now compare Aba to Lagos, 520 kilometers. Onitsha to Lagos, 500 kilometers. Despite this, for decades, Eastern businesses were forced to use Lagos ports. Cost increased dramatically. Delivery times doubled or tripled. This was never about geography. It is about policy centralization. Bonny Island sits directly on the Atlantic. It is one of Nigeria's oldest maritime hubs, a historic eastern trade center, home to Nigeria's LNG, one of Africa's largest gas export facilities. Today, LNG ships from Bonny supply Europe and Asia. Billions of dollars of energy exports pass through annually. Historically, Bonny had deep trading relationships with Igbo hinterland communities. Inland goods flowed outward, imported goods flowed inward. Bonny is not a distant abstraction. It is a living Atlantic gateway that has always served the East. The Onitsha River Port was designed to modernize an ancient reality. Capacity of over 1.2 million tons annually. Direct navigable link to Owerri, Port Harcourt, Bonny, Bras. This means a container can leave Onitsha, travel by water, and reach the Atlantic without Lagos. This is how inland ports function globally. This model is not unique. Nigeria simply underused it in the East. Oguta is often described as a quiet lakeside town in Imo State, but that description hides a far more important truth. Oguta is not just a lake town, it is one of the most strategic inland maritime locations in eastern Nigeria. Oguta Lake is not isolated, it is connected to the Njaba River, the Orashi River, and ultimately the River Niger, which flows directly into the Atlantic Ocean. This makes Oguta part of the same navigable water system that links Onitsha, Port Harcourt, Bonny, and the Atlantic Ocean. In simple terms, a vessel leaving Oguta can reach the Atlantic Ocean entirely by water. During the colonial eras, Oguta served as a logistics and movement point for goods, palm produce, timber, agricultural exports moved through its waterways. The surrounding region became commercially active because of its access. Oguta's importance was never accidental. It was a geography at work. Beneath Oguta and its surrounding area lies proven oil and gas deposits, strategic proximity to existing Niger Delta energy infrastructure. This means Oguta is not only a transport hub, it is also an energy corridor. Globally, regions with both inland water access and energy access become logistic and industrial centers. Oguta fits that model precisely. Let's compare globally. Switzerland trade through Rotterdam. Austria uses German ports. Ethiopia relies on Djibouti. None of these countries are considered economically isolated. Why? Because access to the sea is about infrastructure, not coastline labels. The Southeast is closer to the Atlantic ports than many global industrial regions are to theirs. So why does the landlocked narrative persist? Several reasons. Post-war infrastructural neglect, collapse of eastern rail systems, deliberate port underfunding, over-concentration of maritime power in Lagos. Yet, even under these constraints, Aba became Nigeria's manufacturing hub. Onitsha dominated inland trade. The Southeast remained one of Nigeria's most commercially active regions per capita. This growth happened despite obstruction, not because of advantage. The cost of Lagos congestion, 500,000 to 2 million extra per container, weeks of port delays, increased prices for consumers. Reactivating eastern maritime routes could cut logistic costs by 30 to 40%, reduce pressure on Lagos, revive inland waterways, boost regional manufacturing. This is not a regional demand, it is a national economic solution. The Southeast does not need new geography. It needs dredged rivers, functional rails to ports, policy decentralization, equal port investment. The sea is already there. The rivers already flow. History already proves it. The idea that the Southeast is landlocked did not come from maps. It came from neglect, because geography tells a different story, a story of rivers that flow south, ports built for eastern trade, and an Atlantic Ocean that has always been within reach. You can delay access, you can ignore infrastructure, you can silence history, but you cannot rewrite geography. The Southeast has always had access to the sea. For years, the story has been told incorrectly, that the Southeast is cut off, that it is boxed in by geography, that it lacks access to the sea. But when the rivers are traced, when the ports are examined, when history is allowed to speak, a different conclusion emerges. The Southeast sits on a vast inland water system, connects directly to the Atlantic Ocean, has historic, economic and logistical sea access, was never landlocked, only policy blocked. From Onitsha to Oguta, from Port Harcourt to Bonny, the routes have always existed. What has been missing is a deliberate activation. Geography gave the Southeast access to the sea. What remains is the political will to use it. If this documentary changed how you see the Southeast, then it deserves to be shared. Like this video to help correct a long-standing myth. Share it with anyone who still believes the Southeast is landlocked. Subscribe for more deep dive documentaries on Nigeria's history, infrastructure, and regional development. And most importantly, join the conversation in the comments because national progress begins when facts replace narrative.
The Oguta River Port project, which was awarded by the federal government some years back, has been in a state of abandonment before the past administration of President Muhammadu Buhari made effort to resuscitate it. That particular effort of resuscitating the port project did not yield the much expected dividend, as it also returned back to its state of abandonment. Having realized its potentials to the economic growth of the Southeast geopolitical zone and the rest of the country, the present administration, through the National Inland Waterways Authority, has concluded arrangement towards completing the all-important river port. The newer managing director, Dr. George Moalo, who on arrival toured around the project site, said the river port, when completed, will contribute more to the growth of the national economy as well as attract direct foreign investment.
If this port is completed and functional, I can guarantee you that, knowing our people, properties will be scattered left, right, and center here. We need to get this port off the ground.
A stakeholder from the host community, who is also the Imo State Commissioner for Niger Delta Affairs, Prince Henry Okafor, said the project, when completed, will usher in economic and infrastructural development in the area and its environs.
If this port is completed and the access route is open, cattle and tomatoes can enter in a local vessel, and here will turn out to be another market.
He also commended the effort the managing director of National Inland Waterways Authority, Dr. Moalu, is making towards the realization of the project. In Owerri, Kingsley Onitsha, NTA News.